Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Skye and today we are going to be doing an August Shop My Stash. Now you may have noticed that I didn't do a Shop My Stash for July. I'll be so honest with you, I just didn't feel like doing one. And also I don't know if any of y'all are also like this, June and July are the same month to me. There's no difference, they're the exact same month. So I guess in my head, even though I've had this Shop My Stash for like 2 months, in my head it's only been one, so I don't know. But we've got a lot to talk about, so let's go on into the products and then we'll go into my collection and pick out the products for August. I guess the perk of having this Shop My Stash for 2 months is the fact that I have really went in on these products. So let's start off with our first base product. I'm just shaking it up. This is the Made by Mitchell Truth Tint Skin Tint. I am in the shade TT1. Titty. Now I have used this a couple of times and I really like it. It is very liquidy. Like, you really have to shake it up. Like, you really have to shake it up. And I find that sometimes it can leak a little bit of oil. Like, I don't know if you can really see. Like, it's kind of wet. And that's the, bit of the oil separating. But yeah, this is described as like a really sheer just tint, and that is essentially what it is. It does what it says on the tin. I have tried applying this with my hands and I do find that it can be a little bit streaky, so I actually have applied it with this brush from Nabla and it worked really nicely. It does leave your face with a nice glowy finish. I do find that it can look a little bit oily. I have oily skin, so that's just my personal preference, but the glow it gives is really nice, and yeah, I don't really have too much to say on it. I kind of want to really dedicate time in testing this out because I was kind of focused on all the other new products in this Shop My Stash, but I quite liked it. I quite liked it, so I'm happy to have it. Okay, this product I absolutely fell in love with, like 100%. This is the Rare Beauty stick bronzer, like bronzer stick in the shade Power Boost. Now, I mainly bought this because I found that with the liquid blushes from Glaminatrix, they worked better if you applied all of your liquids and creams first and then powdered your skin. They don't really work that well on top of powdered skin, but it made me really curious to try this Rare Beauty one because everyone has raved about it and I really like Rare Beauty, so I thought I'd try it out, and fucking love this. I really love this. The shade Power Boost is really light and it is just, it's so creamy and very nicely warm toned. It blends out seamlessly. Like, it's just so easy to work with. You don't even need a brush to blend it out with. It's the perfect sort of like warm, like yellowy ochre undertone, which is really good because I have like an olive undertone to my skin. Super easy to use, doesn't fade off on my oily skin. I really love this. I have used this so much. Even when I wasn't using my liquid or cream blushes, I was still using this and then, you know, going in with my other like powder products. It's just a really good bronzer, and I'm really happy that I have it in my collection. As many of you know, I don't tend to like to try new bronzers. Like, I have had the Nabla like skin bronzing bronzer in the shade Ambra for years. Before that it was the Becca Barley Sands. I don't really like to have lots of bronzers in my collection, but the fact that this is a cream, it serves like a different purpose, and I really like it. I just smacked myself in the fucking face. Now, the blush that I chose to pair with that bronzer is one of the Glaminatrix Cheek Flush liquid blushes, and this is the shade Petal. It's just a really lovely pinky, just a pinky shade, like a warm pink. I use this a lot, especially paired with the other blush in my Shop My Stash. I didn't actually include this in the Shop My Stash because I didn't have it, like, when I filmed the video, but these two paired together really nicely. This is the Lottie London ombre blush in the shade Serene. This has been like a workhorse, like truly. If you use Serene to set Petal, these just create such a beautiful pink dewy cheek, and the ombre blush actually has a bit of silver shimmer to it, so it just looks so nice. Serene I have used so much, even just like on its own. Anytime that I want a bit more of a subtle blush, this one has been the one I go to, and it looks really nice. And these two paired together, I just love this pairing. I love finding like powder like blushes that pair with my Glaminatrix liquid blushes, because that's just been really fun. It feels like I'm a kid mixing mud together to create a portion. Okay, let's move on to the palettes. So we had 2 palettes from Haggard Cosmetics, which are a fairly new to me Chinese indie brand. If you watch my palette declutter, you would kind of know my thoughts. So this first one was Ecstasy of Saintis, and this is one that I've actually decluttered from my collection. But yeah, this has been decluttered from my collection. I was quite disappointed in it, I'm not gonna lie. These 2 shades were just so light that, like, they have so much white base to them. You wouldn't think that this shade would, because it just looks like a medium toned pink, but like it has so much white base to it that it really doesn't show up that well on my skin. This shade I was so disappointed in. It's one of those squishy putty formulas. You may have noticed that I've hit pan in it. This eyeshadow is like wet. It's wet. And I usually quite like putty eyeshadow formulas, but this one is so wet that like it creases, but it's one of those where like, it's not one of those where you can just tap out the creases with your finger, which is what other putty shadows are like. This one, it just kind of sticks into the creases, and if you try and pat it, it lifts on itself. It doesn't layer well. It's not the one. And because it is like that flaky, like chunkier sort of shimmer, it just doesn't bode well at all. It just looks chunky and thick on the eyes, and yeah, I was really disappointed. The Cool Tone Deep Brown is just fine, like it's nice, I don't really have any complaints. It does have quite a bit of fallout, but like, it's whatever. And this shimmery purple is really nice, but the shimmers just fall out of it so much that you're just kind of left with like a dark purple matte satin shade. Overall, I was not impressed with this palette. It was not for me. It was sent in PR, but I was really disappointed in this one, so that's why I decluttered it from my collection. On the contrary though, the Ragnarok palette that Haggard sent over, I loved this one, and I didn't think I'd love it as much as I do. The sparkly shadow in this one isn't a wet formula, it's a drier formula, like more of a drier flaky shadow, but it just works so nicely as like a sheer smattering of sparkle all over the lid, or with a glitter primer. You do have to be a bit careful because it can look a little bit chunky, but like it's a bit more controlled than the wet one. I love this champagne shimmer as well. The cool tone browns and the black in here. Every time I've worn this in the past 2 months, I have felt sexy. And that's not a feeling I often feel. Even in this makeup look right now, I kind of feel delectable as hell right now. But yeah, I really, really liked this palette. The looks that I did with it were just so beautiful. I really liked it. I don't really have any complaints. The matte shadows worked beautifully, very pigmented, didn't have like a big white base to them. They just performed beautifully. So I would highly recommend the Ragnarok palette over the Ecstasy of Saintis palette. Like this one, like, is just leaps and bounds better. The last palette that I had in this Shop My Stash was one of the Cherry Yeep makeup palettes. I keep saying Cherry Yeep. Is it Cherry Yeep? I don't know. Cherry Yeep. They're another Chinese indie brand, and this is the number 7 Steel Heart palette. This is their little format. It's a 16 pan palette. For it being a 16 pan palette, it is very compact. Like, I love this pan format as well. It's just really satisfying to look at. I'll try and hold it so it's not like absolutely flashbanging you with the mirror. It is just a lovely cool toned palette. A lot of these shades, however, they do look very samey on the eyes. I don't think this shouldn't have been a 16 pan palette. This could have been an 8 pan. Like, cut this in half, it would be perfect. I do really like the shimmers in this palette. They're quite unique to my collection. They're nicely sparkly and just like subtly duochromy. The mattes are really lovely. You do have to build them up a little bit. They're more of a buildable formula, I should say. But they look really nice. I don't have any wearing problems. It's very easy to work with, especially if you're into like your cool tones and you don't really want to think too hard when you do your makeup. This is just a very easy palette to use. But yeah, I don't think it should be a 16 pan palette. Like, there's a lot of shades that are very redundant. But yeah, this was another palette that was sent in PR, and I really, really like it. But yeah, I do kind of struggle to recommend it because to me, it should have been halved. Okay, lip products. We have a few lip products to talk about. Let's talk about the Haggard ones first. So I have the double-ended glossy lip balm gloss stain things from Haggard. Can we tell that I forgot the name and the labels on the bottom are written in Mandarin? so I have no idea what they say. I do know that I have the shades The Poet and Sixpence and Castle. Which one is which? I'm pretty sure this one's Poet and Sixpence. Yeah. I fucking love these. Like, pardon my French. I really, really like these. So, it comes with, they're basically like glossy balm lip glosses, but I would say these are more lip stains. So the lip stain portion is like so watery and just smooth on the lips. It looks so lovely, and if you leave this on for a little bit, it does stain your lips really pretty. Stain your lips really pretty. It also smells. Oh, what fruit is that? It smells like a fruit that I can't... It's like cherries, but like cherries and like melon. It's so nice. Now the stain formula is very, very thin, so that is the stain in Poet and Sixpence. I may as well swatch both of them. And then this is the stain in Castle. They're very watery and thin. They do have a bit of tackiness to them, like a bit of moisturizing properties, but when it eventually dries down fully, like these stain your lips. And if I don't have a bit of paper. The shade Castle, like this one, when I wipe it off, it leaves the most beautiful, like warm, like reddish tint to my lips. It's so beautiful. And the like lip topper side, the glossy side, this is so fucking cool, bro. So the applicator is a silicone applicator, and I'll see if I can swatch. This is the Poet and Sixpence one. They're basically more so lip toppers, to be honest. This is the Castle shade. I really like the Castle one because this one has more pigment to it. Bit more of like a cool tone brown with silver sparkles. But these, when you put on the topper side, it has a cooling sensation. And I was like, when I first applied it, because I don't think it said anywhere like on their listings that they were cooling. When I put them on, I was like, God damn, my lips are a little bit chilly, bro. I have really fallen in love with these lip products. Like, I actively reach for these. I keep these in my handbag when, like, after work, if I was, like, going out on a date with Greg, or I was, like, going to meet friends. Like, this is such a good item to just keep in your makeup bag because you can have it both ways. And it's just a nice lip stain that you don't have to think about. I highly, highly recommend these Haggard lip stains, gloss duos. They are really lovely. I would be curious to have, like, the rest of the shades if I didn't already have a bunch of lip products. But I really rate those. Really, really love them. And the final lip products I have to mention, these two I have, like, put together because this was, like, a lip combo that I wanted to wear. And god damn, I milked this lip combo so much. And I still do to this day. To this day, it's been 2 months. So this is the Beauty Bay lip liner in the shade Vintage. It is like a dark chocolate brown. Let me swatch it. This lip liner formula is very firm, but because it's so firm, like it has enough creaminess to it where you can like draw on your lips, but it is stiffer. Normally I'm not a big fan of stiffer lip liners, I like creamier ones, but this one for for this dark shade, it works so well because it does stay put, it's very long lasting. And I have been using that with the Glaminatrix Cosmetics Velvet Slim Lipstick in the shade Joyful. You can see that it's like kind of gross looking. There's so much product on the sides. This lipstick formula is banging, and I'm so glad that I've got like another one in my collection now. So that's Joyful right there, and then that's Vintage. So I would line my lips with Vintage, fill in like the outer corners, and then put Joyful on top of it. And god damn, it created the most beautiful, like nude, like deeper nude, chocolatey, like warm brown lip. I fucking love it. Like it's very Bratz, like this combo. And this like lipstick formula, it smells like MAC lipsticks. It has that vanilla cupcake MAC smell. And I love how skinny they are. They're skinny! I love how skinny it is. It fits in your bag really nicely, and this is just a lovely, pleasant formula to work with. This is lovely. It's really comfy on the lips. It doesn't have a taste to it, so if you are sensitive to fragrances, even though it does have that vanilla-y smell, it does like go away fairly quickly. It doesn't dry out my lips, looks stunning, and yeah. I got no complaints. So yeah, that was my very, very, very long intro to a Shop My Stash. I don't think I've done a long intro like that in a very long time. But let's go on into my makeup collection and talk about the products I'm going to be choosing for August, shall we? Welcome to handheld mode of Shop My Stash, so let's get on into the first drawer. Jesus Christ. A little full, a little big for her boots, if you know what I'm saying. So my vibe for August is basically pre-autumn, essentially. And you know what? I think I'm going to do this in reverse again, because I know what palettes I want to pick out, but I don't know what cheek products, so we're gonna do a little switcheroo. So let's go on into my eyeshadow palettes. So if you watched my palette collection video, you know that there's some changes, and I am very, very happy with those changes. So I think for August, of course, I want to dip into the Glaminatrix Barely Basic palette. This is their newest palette that is, pretty sure it's already been launched by the time this video goes up. I am currently wearing it in the intro of this video, and I am working on my 2 looks plus review with it. It is just so stunning. And yeah, even though this is a very autumnal palette, I don't care. I'm gonna use it now. And the other palette I really want to use, one of you guys actually commented asking if I could do more content with it, and I realized, yeah, you know what? I've really not done much content with this palette, and that is the Serum Cosmetics Gloomy Gardens palette. Like, I've used it quite a bit off camera, but not as much, like, in front of you guys. And this palette is beautiful, and I think this is a perfect palette for like August, September time, because it does have like bright, colourful tones, but also like the more murkiness to it, which, you know, I love. See, I'm gonna make more of an effort to use Gloomy Gardens on camera, because I love this palette. It's one of those palettes that, like, I love so much, but I don't really talk about much. I don't know, it's weird. But yeah, those are the palettes I'm gonna be picking out. So yeah, let's go back into the base drawer and figure out what we're gonna work with. So yeah, these are the tones we're working with. Honestly, these pair together beautifully. Like, yes. Obviously, like, some peachy tones, maybe some, like, burnt tones as well. I honestly need to organize this better. This is just not giving. I'm thinking maybe dipping into my... it's not skinny. Dipping into my Kaleidos Lo-Fi Blush Duo in the shade Lo-Fi Peach, because I really want to finish that shade by, definitely not by the end of the year, because I don't think that's feasible, but at some point, because this is currently the oldest blush in my collection, and I feel like it could get a nice good amount of usage. It's nice tones to pair with all these. And another blush? I don't know. Actually, let's whip out this Rich World of Fee one. This is their Inner Glow Cream Pigment in the shade Delirium. Oh my god, me. That'd be sick if I could. Hang on, don't help me. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, fella. I feel like this blush will pair really beautifully with Barely Basic. With Gloomy Gardens, maybe a little bit, like with the oranges. Maybe I won't use this. Maybe I'll save that for autumn. It is more of like an autumn blush. Maybe we haven't used this in a bit. This is the About Face, what is it, their Cheek Freak blush in the shade Raunchy. Oh, one-handed. Let's go, baby! Yeah, I feel like this would work really nicely with the tones we got going on. And for the cooler toned blush, I know that I've been using this Lottie London one a lot, and you can tell it's gotten a lot of use. I really, really like it. Shall I whip it out again, or shall I give something else a chance? I could use my Kaleidos Pale Rose. This would work nicely. The neighbour's dog is barking, do excuse that. Yeah, let's use Kaleidos Pale Rose. My little uterus blush. And I think that's all I'll be picking out for, like, this drawer. I don't think I'll be picking out any highlighter this rotation, because we have the iridescent shades in Barely Basic, so I think that's what we're gonna pick out. Anything in the second drawer? Any extra bits? Anything? No? Dust. I don't think so. I don't think so. Lip product time! The drawer has kind of descended into chaos once more. It was fun while it lasted. It did not last long. Now, I do have a couple of new bits from Glaminatrix. So I've got their lip liner in PR. This is the shade Fearless. Did I mainly choose it because it was called Fearless? Yeah, don't talk to me. And I think I'll use because one of these I purchased myself. I purchased Joyful myself, but then they sent over Modest in PR, and this is, I haven't used this yet actually. This is a lovely, like, mauvey toned, focus, she's so skinny you can't see her. It's a lovely mauvey toned lipstick, and I think that'll work nicely with like some mauves that we've got going on. So, oh, let's do this. Literally no one asked me to do this one-handed. I just set a challenge for myself. No, that was almost perfect, bro. Yeah. So yeah, we'll use that as our cooler toned lip option. For the warmer tones, I need to sit down, bro. I feel like, oh, I'm getting old. For the warmer toned lip option, I could whip out a Kaleidos lip clay. I actually haven't used this shade in a long time. This is Kaleidos Adobe, the lip clay. I've like not used this in ages because this is one of my favorite like lipsticks that I kind of like to sporadically use it. I don't like to use it all the time. But I think this is a good time to whip her out. We love her. I think that would be it, you know. I mean, we could whip out this lip liner. This is the Colourpop BFF liner. I could use this one. It's very pale. No, I think I'll save that for another time. I cannot do this one-handed. I have to put you down. I think that's all I'll pick out for this drawer. No, maybe I do want to whip out one more thing. I want to see, because it is still summer, I do want to see if I can use one of my brighter coloured lipsticks. We could use Wild Apple from Kaleidos. It is a really nice, like, strawberry red shade. Yeah, this could be the wild card. I don't know if I will actually use this, but it is worth a try. And maybe actually I could try mixing these two together. Maybe this will create a really pretty combo. Maybe it won't, but maybe worth a try. Let's do that. And that's everything I'm gonna pick for my Shop My Stash. So let's put it all in the drawer. As always, I have my my Project Pan palette, which I low-key have kind of neglected recently, but that's always included. So let's put everything away, shall we? And there we go. That is going to be the Shop My Stash drawer. I'm actually going to move this palette like over here so I actually remember to use it. If you see all of this stuff over here, that's all of my mum's sewing stuff. So, fun fact. But yeah, that's going to be the Shop My Stash for August. I'm so excited. I really cannot wait to dip back into Gloomy Gardens and play with Barely Basic more, and just play with a few old favourites too. I'm very excited, and I really want to try and use like this as a combo. I'll report back with how that goes, but yeah, let's get on into the outro, shall we? So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Do let me know what's in your Shop My Stash for August. I'm very nosy. I love knowing what's in people's Shop My Stashes. Do let me know. If you'd like to see more makeup content from me, you can follow me on my Instagram. It's faerie.skye right here. I post all my looks there, and I'm active on there every single day, and my back is itchy. Stop it. I'm not refilming that, I'm keeping that. And if you'd like to support me further, I do have my own small business, Rain Cloud Candles Co. We're a small queer-owned business based in the UK, and we make handmade candles and wax melts. The link to shop will be down below, along with our social media, if you'd like to support us. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to have you here. And as always, stay safe, wash your hands, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!